Hi, this is Morley and this is the M-Wire. In this video, we're going to look at how Spotify employees are actually threatening to strike unless they get editorial insight over Joe Rogan's podcasts. Thank you to my new subscribers. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. It would greatly help out the channel. For those of you who are too young to remember what life was like before cancel culture, it was like this. If you, for instance, say found a company's advertising offensive, you ignored it and didn't shop there. No one stood outside the store telling other people not to shop there. Enter cancel culture. The left has repeatedly said they're for free speech, but as it turns out, your free speech is only allowed if you agree with them. Otherwise, you are deemed a hater and you need to be censored as quickly as possible. The deal that Spotify has is with Joe Rogan is exactly that, as opposed to Spotify has a deal with Joe Rogan so long as the people who work there approve of Joe Rogan's content. I'm very confident that there isn't a clause in Spotify's employees' contract that says they have any creative control whatsoever as to what is or isn't allowed on Spotify. So suffice to say, a strike would be illegal. Even if they do manage to legally strike, there's something I'm sure they never thought of. There's no shortage of people looking for work. They can picket until the cows come home. The only people that will care is BLM. Oh, wait a minute, they're too busy burning, looting, and shooting to care. Sorry, I forgot for a moment. The adage, don't bite the hand that feeds you, is applicable here. Let's get into this thing. Spotify employees demanding direct editorial oversight over Joe Rogan's podcast before they're published. A group of Spotify staffers are now reportedly pushing to introduce direct editing oversight to the Joe Rogan Experience before the episodes go live. That includes content flags, trigger warnings, references to fact-checking information, or simply refusing to publish an episode at all. The demands follow a string of controversial comments by Joe Rogan, who was lured to Spotify in a massive $100 million deal. Joe Rogan appeals to millions of listeners in his unfiltered and irreverent approach, though that style isn't sitting well with an activist group on Spotify staffers who says he needs to be reined in. Earlier this month, Digital Music News first reported that multiple podcast episodes were missing following a migration to Spotify's platform. That also included interviews with the likes of Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos, Gavin McInnes, and missing are episodes featuring right-wing figures like Owen Benjamin, Stephen Molyneux, and Charles C. Johnson. But despite the glaring omissions, Spotify staffers are now stepping up their demands to control more of Rogan's content. Vice first learned that Spotify employees have conducted more than 10 meetings to discuss possible changes. Those discussions include proposals for the outright removal of additional podcast episodes. Of particular focus in an earlier conversation featuring Abigail Shire, who wrote Irreversible Damage, the transgender craze seducing our daughter, Shire's opinions on the matter drew howls of protest from certain Spotify staffers who demanded its removal, though the episode is still available on the Spotify platform. Now Digital Music News has learned that the protesting employee group is stepping up its demands to control Rogan's work. Part of the rationale is that Spotify already exerts control over content like playlists, even though it's created by outside curators. So why not extend that oversight to podcasts as well? This has reportedly gone all the way to the top, though Spotify CEO Daniel Ek appears to be pushing back. From a business standpoint, the reason is fairly obvious. Rogan's audience likes his direct, unedited style and could quickly abandon the comedian podcaster if he's edited. That might explain why Shire Podcast is still live, and a strange development emerged earlier today. It is in complete uncharacteristic fashion. Joe Rogan issued a public apology for comments made during his recent interview with Douglas Murray. In the episode, Rogan alleged that left-wing activists had allegedly set wildfires in states like Oregon, and a claim that is refuted by the FBI and other officials. I actually love Portland. It's one of my favorite places to perform, Rogan said. Most of the people there are very nice, but there's a madness going on there. You walk and talk about the madness of crowds, and it exemplifies that right now. They've arrested people for lighting forest fires up there. They've arrested left wing people for lighting those forest fires, air quote activists, and this stuff isn't widely being reported. Earlier today, Rogan issued a mea culpa. I need to make an apology and a retraction, Rogan said on Instagram. I said on the podcast with Douglas Murray about people getting arrested for lighting fires, and I got duped. It's wrong. Whether that apology was made under pressure from Spotify is unclear, though Spotify staffers want to edit comments like that before they get published. That would include simply cutting out the section out or issuing a warning and a link to other information similar to the oversight employed by Twitter and Facebook. Of course, that level of oversight could create a serious rift between Rogan and Spotify. Beyond that, it could constitute a breach of contract, which would give Rogan an exit from the deal after delivering a handful of episodes. Either way, this marriage looks troubled, just days after the honeymoon. These Spotify employees just need to shut their cake hole and do their jobs. They don't get to decide what goes on the platform, and if I was the owner of Spotify, I would be saying just shut up, do your job, and we'll get along just fine. Thank you very much for coming along to my video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and God bless y'all.